I always ask you this question. I'll ask you again, and I'll ask Alvin. It's the Jordan Walker question. I get the impression the last time I sat down John Mozeliak about 2 weeks ago that they're going to give this guy every opportunity. If you had to guess, at-bats, Jordan Walker this season, gut feel.
In the big leagues?
Yes, sir.
450?
I was going to say 400.
Wow.
I think he's.
But you don't think they're going to come in April, though, right?
No, I think he's the opening day right fielder.
Good.
Unless they make another move between now and then to bring in another hitter of some sort. I think, and unless the two caveats, that's number one. Number two is that he has an okay spring training. I don't think he has to even be a dominating player in spring training, but he has to hold his own. If he goes 1 for 30 or something, he's not going to make the team.
I'll still hold to this. I don't think he starts with the big league club only because I think they would basically want to. It's not to hold him back or do the arbitration thing. I think it's just like we would really like you to go down, start AAA and light it up. And even if you don't, you'll be here. But just to let you.
What did the Braves do with Michael Harris?
He came straight from Double-A, but he didn't start the season. He came up like 12 months into the season.
That's eerily similar. Then.
Right. So maybe get some at bats and show yourself. Because you get to AAA and you struggle a little bit. You still know you're coming. Okay.
Well, the other thing is that if he's in that opening day lineup, he's hitting 6th or 7th. It's not like he's batting cleanup.
Yeah.
Or hitting 3rd.
And you're right. I mean,
so I think there's not as much pressure on him.
Now, spring training for him is important.
It's very important.
Right. And that could take care of what I'm hoping for him, which is to get his feet underneath him. I'd love it if he started AAA and just raked, and then said okay, you're here. Don't worry about it. You're now a major leaguer. He goes 0 for 10 his first 10 at bats, and then everybody's saying, maybe he should have done this or maybe he should have done that. And that's just part of it. I'm sure he can handle that, but that's a little bit more pressure.
All right, which outfielder do you have the most confidence in? That's going to have the best season. Boy, hold on a second. You guys just pausing like this gives you an idea of the confidence level in the Cardinals.
No, because I have to qualify the question. You talk about which one's going to have the best year. I think it could be like Lars Nootbaar, but I think you're expecting less out of him than you're expecting out of Tyler O'Neill or Dylan Carlson.
Well, let me just ask you, who's going to have the highest OPS at the end of the year?
I think it'll be Dylan Carlson.
Dylan Carlson?
Yes.
He would be like 3rd on my list, maybe 4th.
Well, because I think that he finally – maybe it's just wishful thinking, but I think this is the year that he actually plays up to the standard that people appreciate. Not all-star level, don't get me wrong, but better than he has been. Tyler O'Neill's going to get hurt again. I mean, Tyler O'Neill is my Zion Williamson. When he's dunking on people with 3 seconds left in the game and talking all that mess, all I feel like, he's going to be hurt another 2 weeks, and sure enough, so I kind of look at him like, oh, yeah, he can get hot as a firecracker. But
I think Dylan can have the biggest jump from how he performed last year to how he's going to perform this
okay.
year. If his wrist and thumb is okay. I still really think he was hurt more last year than we know.
And when you hurt your wrist in baseball, that's a tough thing. That's a tough thing.
All right. Which pitcher do you think at the end of the season is going to have the best statistics?
In terms of ERA, wins, losses?
Well, just who's going to have the best year?
Well, it better be, for their sake, it better be Flaherty.
That's what I was going to say, too. I don't know that he necessarily ends up with the lowest ERA, but I think he could pitch. If he could pitch innings, I think he could end up with the most success.
Yeah. So if Jack Flaherty returns to the Jack Flaherty of 2019, could they win it all?
Yes.
They could win the division. After that, it's.
But if you had Flaherty and then you had a Michaelis,
Flaherty makes that pitching staff pretty good. I mean, if you have Flaherty, Michaelis, Montgomery, your first 3 playoff starters, and over Wainwright in there. I mean, I'd take my chances.
Right. I'm just saying that once you get in the playoffs, it's just I've seen it too many times now. And the Cardinals have pulled this feed off 6 and 11. They weren't the best team going in, but so somebody comes along and just is hot. People talking about the Phillies going to win. The Phillies going to do this, the Phillies going to do that. I said the Phillies going to be probably ready to fire their manager by the All-Star break. They were just a smoking hot team with holes in the lineup and bad
two very good starting pitchers.
We had 2 very good starting pitchers.
Yeah. All right. In terms of the manager, what would you grade him for last year's work?
B minus.
I would say a B plus.
Why would you say B minus? That's almost a C.
I think that.
God,
You're right. You're right. No, wait. No, let me correct myself. Maybe what I'm saying is that let's take away the pluses and the minuses, and I would give him a B, and you give him a B, right? Yeah. I don't think it was awful.
I think it was close between a B and an A.
Yeah.
I think he really did a good job. I mean, I think
What would be your issue that he wouldn't be a high B and close to an A?
I think there were times where kind of like the team was running itself instead of him running the team. But I think that goes with experience. And I think that at the end of the year, the last thing I think any manager would want to do was when they started to fall off, said like, guys, hey, we're not here every night to watch Albert Pujols hit home runs and say goodbye to Yadier Molina. We're out here getting up. We losing too many damn games. We've been really good. We've been it. Let's stay hot. Let's win games. Let's not, even make this a contest. Milwaukee doesn't want any. These teams are folding. But we're losing. Let's snap out of that. And I think they carried that a little bit into the playoffs with him.
I thought he did a really nice job with handling Albert in general because when Albert couldn't hit a lick, he did not play Albert.
Right.
And then when he started hitting, I don't care if it's a right-handed pitcher, you're in the lineup, you're one of my best players. And I thought also, too, like he was tough on some younger players. Like Bader's not young, but when Bader didn't run that thing out, you're benched.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you could have ruled the thing with an iron hand with Yadi, Waino, and Albert, and you're 35 years old.
It's going to be interesting to see how he does this season without Yadi there, without Pujols there, without having to worry about kind of massaging their egos a little bit. Because Wainwright's a different case. Pitchers are a different case when they're only pitching once every 5 days, and he's going to manage himself, so you don't have to worry about him.
And
the
maybe
day-to-day lineup.
Right, and maybe he needed to come to the realization that all right, I'm managing 22 guys, not 25. Those three, we'll do what we do, but just keep everybody else understanding. Like, hey, I feel like rest of the team is a little bit in awe of what is going on. And it's not disrespectful to say, like, I'm really not here to celebrate home runs and all that. I'm here to, keep us winning and keep us, hot as we go into the playoffs. And this, Rob, whatever the forecast was for the number of wins for the Cardinals, they're usually going to be, in that ballpark. So even though it looked like they were going to win 93 games or whatever, they found their way back to where they were going to probably be. So that's just natural. That's not how baseball is. So that September maybe was just, water finding its level as opposed to the manager needed to step forth a little bit.
I will say this, especially given the fact he was the youngest manager in baseball, is I think he more than held his own. I mean, he was not out of a ship out of water.
There was never a time where I did not think he was up to the job.
I mean, I disagree with some of his decisions sometimes, especially when it came to bullpen management. But, I would do that with any manager probably.
So after the starting five, in terms of the starting pitching rotation, Dakota Hudson is your 6, and then who's your next in line?
I got to go through him.
Probably Liberatore.
Are you still?
I'll
tell you, the
I don't know that he's
perception
going
of
to be a
Liberatore
number
by the
one.
average fan is not good. You
He's
still think
young.
there's a chance?
He's still young.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's necessarily a number one starter, but I think he can be a quality big league starter.
I agree.
Middle of the rotation.
I just don't think he's had his opportunities, but I think he just needs to pitch more. Okay. I really do.
All right. Now, Rob, since you study the Cardinals minor league system as well as anybody, give us the next name in the organization after Jordan Walker, pitcher or everyday player, who you think could have a big impact in the near future.
Gordon Graceffo.
As a starting pitcher.
Yes. Or as a reliever. I mean, I could see him making this team as a reliever to start with because if they have enough starting pitchers, I think he'll be a starter in 2024.
Yeah.
But I could see him in the bullpen this year.
And throws mid to high 90s as a starter.
With a very good strikeout to walk ratio. And I like Mason Wynn, too. I really think Mason Wynn's got you. I don't know that he's necessarily going to make an impact this year, but I think he is going to be the shortstop of the future.
So what happens with Edman, very young and in the prime of his career and productive?
It'll be interesting to see.
All right.
Well, if he has a good season again, then
He's got
then you can't
keep everybody.
Right, you can't keep everybody. I say you can't discard him, but at the same time, you can't keep everybody.
And his future might be tied to how Nolan Gorman plays. Might be tied to how Brendan Donovan plays, because he can still very easily slide back over to second base.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That is he your second baseman? Do you come to the conclusion that he's our second baseman?
And then about Wynn, since you've seen him up close and personal, who is he? His Gary Templeton's arm. What else? He runs great.
Yeah, he's a lot of doubles. I mean, they're not going to hit a lot of power, I don't think. But I think, and I don't know that he's a top of the order hitter in the big leagues, but I think he can be more than effective as an offensive player. But excellent defense. I mean, he throws 100. I mean, honestly, Sean Dunston is who he reminds me of as a shortstop. I mean, as far as an arm goes.
Can he hit 280?
I think he probably could. I mean, he could also slide to center field. I mean, I also think he could play center field very well if he had to. If that's the direction that they need to go, but I think they'd prefer to keep him at shortstop.